What's going on, Pathways Church? I'm Jake Collins, your middle school pastor, and I'm excited to join you this week on Daily Dose. You know, it's a big deal in the Bible when something happens more than once. For example, Jesus famously fed a crowd of 5,000 men, but he also fed a slightly smaller crowd of 4,000. Read through David's Psalms and you'll see recurring expressions of God's love, his presence, and our call to trust in him. This week, we're going to look at two figures from the Old Testament, Elijah and Elisha. These guys have much more in common than just the fact that their names are similar. There are several examples in the books of 1st and 2nd Kings where parallel events happen to these guys. We are going to look at 5 stories from their lives this week and explore what each of these tells us about God and our relationship with him. Growing up, you might have played the game Two Truths and a Lie. This week, we're going to flip that around and talk about one truth and two Elis. Elijah and Elisha both served as prophets. Now, you might associate prophecy with knowing things about the future before it happens, and there was certainly that aspect going on in the Old Testament. But the role of prophets was primarily to represent God to the people, particularly leaders, and effectively forward his messages to them. This sometimes meant giving perspective on unusual events that would happen. Today, we're going to look at 2 stories that involve rain. In 1 Kings 17:1, Elijah is confronting Ahab, one of the most corrupt kings Israel ever had. In verse 1, Elijah says, "As the Lord, the God of Israel lives, whom I serve, there will be neither dew nor rain in the next few years, except at my word." If we flip ahead to 2 Kings chapter 3, we see that there is now a temporary alliance between the kings of Israel, Judah, and Edom. They go to Elisha for a message from God. In verse 17, we read, "For this is what the Lord says, you will neither see wind nor rain, yet this valley will be filled with water, and you, your cattle, and your other animals will drink." Now notice 2 ideas that are present in both of these verses. First, both passages remind us of God's sovereignty. He is the creator of everything, and he has authority over everything, even the weather. But we also see the provision and compassion of God. Elijah's message from God allows for the possibility that God will provide rain at his word. Elisha's message gives a more tangible exception. The rain will stop, but the valley will be filled. So many things have changed since the time of Elijah and Elisha, but God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. God is sovereign. Rest assured, his will be done. But he is also a compassionate provider. I pray that we would all find peace in these reminders as we go throughout this week. That's all for today. Join me back here tomorrow on Daily Dose.